Hello there, people of the internet. Lighting is a little bit off on this video. I apologize for that. Like, you guys can see my shadow and probably some light movement and see the shadow of the camera right there, but that's fine. I'm still going to go ahead and make this video. I think that the audience will appreciate looking at the rifle over just seeing some shadows in the background. So, I went out and I got myself this right here. This is something that I've been wanting for a very, very long time. This is an 1895 Mauser. Now, one of the big things that really clues me in to this being a 1895, which is a Chilaen Mauser, is right here on the side of the receiver. It says 1895. But on top of that, over here on the side of the receiver, we got this little piece of metal right there, which actually serves as kind of like a third locking lug, like a safety lug. The bolt handle itself kind of flips into that, and that right there will actually hold the bolt inside the receiver in the event that you have some sort of malfunction with your rifle. If something breaks, the bolt doesn't come flying back at you. So the big thing with this particular gun is it is chambered in 7.62 NATO. I've thought about getting the 7mm Mauser versions of these, which are by far the most common version, but I wanted one in 7.62 NATO, so I've just kind of been holding out for one. So, for all intents and purposes, this right here is a Mauser 93 action, and it's basically a Mauser 93 that has the Chilean updates, and that's kind of what made it a Mauser 95. Same thing with the Swedish Mauser 96. It's, for all intents and purposes, a 93 that has a couple of different upgrades and whatnot to it. So, they're all basically the same. Some things are interchangeable, some things are not. It kind of really depends on what it is that you're looking at, and that's probably a rabbit hole that that'll go down in another video. As a matter of fact, I'll have to write that down so I don't forget about it. But anyway, this right here is your standard 5-shot bolt action rifle. It's a cock on close action, so you don't have to fight spring pressure whenever you are opening the rifle in the event that maybe you have some sticky ammo or something like that. This particular one is in surprisingly good shape. After checking out the serial number, I believe this one was made 1896, which is, well, it's an antique rifle by the Gun Control Act of 1968 definition. If we look right here on the receiver, we'll see 7.62N, that's 7.62 NATO, which means this rifle was updated to 7.62 NATO at some point within its lifetime. We can still see a little bit of a crest. I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but we can see a little tiny bit of a crest right there. The receiver still has a lot of its original bluing. On the side of the receiver, we can see that this right here was in fact made in, I'm not sure how to actually pronounce this. Let me swap this around so you guys can see it, if you guys can see it. Manufactured Lowe, Berlin, L-O-E-W-E, Berlin. So I'm sure that I'm butchering that pronunciation because the W in German is pronounced like a V. Might be love. I got no idea. I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to tell me. So, the receiver itself, definitely original, bluing and whatnot on it, but the barrel looks like it was either re-blued or completely replaced at some point. I'm not entirely sure what the logistics went into the Chilean Mauser conversions whenever they were being converted into 7.62 NATO. So I'm not sure if they just did a full-fledged barrel swap or if they took old barrels and reamed them out and redid the rifling of the barrel and whatnot, because that would be possible in theory. My bet, I think that they just swapped out the barrels for entirely new barrels, because this right here looks like completely new. Like, even on the inside of the rifle, the rifling looks just shiny and brand new. This right here, for all intents and purposes, is basically a brand new gun, other than the fact that the receiver is over 100 years old. They definitely don't make them like they used to. So I have not actually taken this one out to the gun range to test fire it. I do know that it does actually function. I'm not going to dry fire it or anything like that because I don't have snap caps, and it is quite an old rifle. But it does function as far as the trigger's concerned, because I can drop the sear whenever I close the bolt. The wood itself looks really good. I don't see any cracks in the stock or anything like that. With this being essentially a 93 action, I would not trust firing like 308 through this rifle. I'm sure that it could handle it for a while, but I've had 1893 Mausers blow up on me whenever I shoot 308 through them. Like, literally, I had a Spanish Oviedo Mauser blow up on me. I'm not sure what the Spanish steel is in comparison to this steel. Like, I'm not sure of the differences in steel quality. I'm sure that this right here is a better quality steel, just considering the capabilities of Berlin at the time in comparison to the Spaniards. But that's probably, again, a topic for another video. I'm going to go ahead and show this thing off. Our sights here, they do look like your standard 1895 Mauser sights. Nothing real special about those. I have no idea where the hell 7mm or 7.62 NATO is going to impact in comparison to 7.62 or 7mm Mauser. This, I have no idea where 7.62 NATO is going to impact in comparison to 7mm Mauser. I think this right here is still the 7mm Mauser sight. I could be wrong on that, because they did swap out the barrel, so it might already be updated for 7.62 NATO. We're going to find out about that. But our front sight here looks quite a deal taller than the 7mm Mauser front sight would on one of these rifles. So I'm thinking that the front sight was probably made taller, so the point of impact with these rifles is lower. I know I've shot 7mm Mauser versions of these guns before, and I have to aim like 4 feet under my target at 100 yards in order to smack my target. They shoot ridiculously high. And this right here, our minimum zero with our sight down, appears to be 500 meters, so I'm betting that the battle zero itself is probably 400. I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to yell at me that I'm wrong or something like that. This being an earlier version of Mauser, we don't have the pistol grip on it, and that's fine. I actually prefer Mauser stocks that are a little bit more straight like this right here. So here we go. This is my 7.62 NATO 1895 Chilaen Mauser. I've always wanted one of these. Definitely glad to finally have gotten my hands on it. My Oviedo Mauser, I fire black powder 308 through. Like, I make my own black powder, and I can load 308 to fire through that rifle for really, really cheap since I make my own powder. So that's probably what I'm going to do with this one as well. This does have a significantly longer barrel, so I'm betting I'll get better ballistics out of it. Not only that, but, well, I don't know if the Chilaen Mauser is going to be the same, but the Oviedo Mauser, the rifling in it just lends itself to being really, really good with black powder. So I'll have to test this one and see how it does. Because with the Oviedo Mauser, I load up like a full-fledged bag. As a matter of fact, I might have it over here. Are you it? No, that's 6.5 Carcano. Are you it? Are you it? Where the hell is my... There she is. I load up a full-fledged bag. Like, this is probably 100 rounds or so of 308s that is black powder, and I'll take the Oviedo Mauser out and I'll shoot it at 100 yards with this thing. It doesn't lose any accuracy at all because of whatever rifling is in that rifle, whatever rifling the Spanish used. And I'm hoping that this rifle is the same, because I'd love to take it out and be able to shoot it regularly with black powder and not have much issue. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Next video that I have this in will hopefully get it out to the gun range, fingers crossed. All that being said, I guess I'll see you guys on the next episode. I don't see anything else here that I really want to point out. I mean, the action's nice and smooth, magazine and whatnot, all this is nice and clean. This right here is the magazine follower that does let you close the bolt even if the rifle is empty. Nothing else to really say, so I'll see you all in the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.